Alright, Treasury Financial Manual, Volume 1, Part 2, Chapter 6000. Agency reporting requirements to USAspend.gov. USAspend.gov is official source of the spending data of the U.S. federal government mission to show American public the federal government spending every year and how it spends the funding and how users can file for the funding with the congressional operation, federal agencies, down to the local communities and businesses. Section 610 in scope of the Accountability Treasury Financial Management Chapter to discover how agencies use the USAspending.gov, the Digital for the Accountable Transparency Act, broker for the both financial accounting data of the financial accounting assistance, and also for the detail of the information of the data act broker obtains the other system. Lastly, with the chapter include the information on how agency validate within the display of the USAspending.gov. The core requirement of the Digital Accounting Transparency Act with the development of the government-wide data standard to ensure the reporting reliability conserve the federal spending data public. Office of Management and Budget, the Department of Treasury finalize with the data definition standards, and the Treasury use the definition standard to develop the Digital Accountability Transparency Act, the Data Exchange Standard, the scheme of the first part of the Digital Accountability Transparency Act Information Model Scheme in April 2016. Treasury periodically publishes the over the day with the DAIMS. The latest version of the provided by the Bureau official year of the Data Act Information Model Scheme website. Federal agencies must provide provide budget authority appropriated amounts of obligated unobligated balances, any other budgetary resource for the amount for the obligated with the program act for the object level, the board level, in accordance with the Data Act Information Model Scheme to comply with the Data Digital Accountability Transparency Act. Both reporting requirement section chapters are as follows: 6025 reporting requirement of Data Act Information Model Scheme, Section 6030 Data Act Broker Submission Requirement, 6035 Financial Assistant Broker Submission Requirement, Section 6045 Senior Accountable Officer Official Certification. The Treasury Financial Management chapter does not include the reporting requirement of USAspending. Additional information can be found on the official service of the Data Act Informational Model Scheme website extension of the chapter. 6015 of the Authority of Federal Funding Accountability Transparency Act of 2006 percent of the law of September 26, 2006 for the legislation required by the federal contract with the grants along with the other financial assistance award of more than $25,000 to be able to be displayed publicly access to the search bill website to give the American public access to the information on how the tax was spent. In the 2008, the Federal Funding Accountability Transparency Act was amended by the Government Funding Transparency Act, which required prime recipients to report detail of the other first areas of the recipients of the award made as October 1st, 2010. Transparency Act of the Federal Funding Accountability Transparency Act was expanded with an enactment of the Digital Accountability Transparency Act, Public Law 113-101, May 9, 2014. Purpose of the Digital Accountability Transparency Act directed by Congress is to expand the Federal Funding Accountability Transparency Act, disclosing the direct agency expenditure for linking federal contact loan grant spending information federal agency programs. Establish government-wide data standard for the financial data provided with consistently reliable, searchable data that is displayed correctly, accurately. Simplify reporting, streamline reporting requirement to produce compliant with cost while improve the transparency, improve the quality of the data submitted with the USAspending.gov, hold the agencies accountable. Furthermore, the Office of Management and Budget memorandum document to discuss the policy aspect of compliance with the Digital Accountability Transparency Act, the MPM 2006 additional guide for the data implementation of the data-centric approach of the Reporting Federal Spending Act, M171404 guidance for the Data Act implementation for the requirements of reporting ensuring the data reliability act, M1806 Office Management Budget Circle 123 Appendix A Management Reporting Data Integrity Risk, M2021 Implementation Guidance Supplemental Funding provided with the response to the coronavirus disease 2019. The federal funding and accountability transparency act with the Digital Accounting Transparency Act, outlining information needed for the federal spending transparency act, reporting requirement to translate with the data in standard with the standards feedback with the federal community for the stakeholders, finalize definition background information for those elements available, the data element page, the definition data elements required with the FFA, and the data act are provided with the data integrated management system part of the federal official service data transfer of the report submission specification interface definition documentation. All right, all right, section 6020, terms and definitions of the term and the definition related with the chapter. Please refer to the Treasury Financial Manual Glossary. Section 6025, reporting requirements. Data Act Information Model Scheme. Agencies must provide the detailed budgetary rates for the obligation outlay with the obligation for the Treasury account symbol, program activity object class of the board, disaster emergency fund code, as well as the Financial Assistance Information Data Act broker USAspending in accordance with the most recently implemented with the Data Information Model Scheme. Data Information Model Scheme overall view with 100 of the distinct data elements for the tell the story of how federal dollars are spent, indicates the artifact with the provided technical guidance federal agency of the data the report with the Treasury included with the authorized source for the data element submission for data information model scheme cuts over the inherently complex of the data so that the public can be better understand. The data information model scheme overview are an architecture that describes the scope of the view of the data, starting with the detail of the data, starting with the conceptual model specification scheme, the management, the data and the damage data information model scheme. Data standard is extensible to the domain component and element of the metadata, additional descriptive of the data information model scheme architecture is available on official service data information model scheme website. Information flow of the proceeds overview of the reporting time frame source of the data included the data information management scheme across the federal enterprises. Alright, reporting submission specification, RSS, include the list of the data elements that are directly submitted to the Data Act broker, specific information federal agency submitted the content with the appropriate form of the RSS or reporting submission specification, human readable version of the data statement that also include the tariff labels, shortened version of the data element, the name of the domain view, the permissible value of the subset of the data and information management scheme data elements, data information management, the diagram, visual representation of how the data elements of the reporting submission specification fit together in context. All USAspending agency submission files are described the data information management scheme or the reporting submission specification, reporting submission specification information tabs and files are tabulated. A. Operations account. B. Object class program activity. C. Award finance and FASB Federal Financial Assistant Broker submission. Submission files A, B, and C submitted with the Data Act broker submission. Interface with the agencies of the AFA Financial Assistant Broker submission. Interface with the financial submissions. Please know that the agencies do not data reported with the Data Act broker must be consistent with the agency's audited financial statement, as well as the agent's government-wide Treasury account symbol, adjusted trial basis, the adjusted trial balance. Submission, interface definition document, or the interface definition document overview of the award, specific data elements of the files D1, D2, D5. Extract the Data Act broker explains the data reported collected, includes the list of the data element pool of the government-wide system, procurement sub-awards of the financial assistant broker system, summation, interface definition document, human readable vision of the data standard with the awarded related with the content, but also include the terrorist label, the shortened version of the data elements, the data and information management scheme diagram, visual presentation of the data elements, interface definition document is together in contents, data information model scheme, really visual how the data elements for reporting supporting specification and in the interface of definition fit together in context online data dictionary contained with the comprehensive list of the data element of the definition some associated metadata validation rule of the document with the business rules employed with the Data Act broker for the field across the field file with the validation practice and procedure to provide the general practice for the procedure of submitting validating with the understanding of the DAB and FAABF submission for the Data Act broker edition. Hold the descriptive confidence of the data information model scheme, and available to physical server the data information model scheme website should be considered the extension from the chapter with each agency, the senior exec account officers must officially attempt to certify the financial data submitted with the agency, the accurate, the complete with the agency financial data is submitted after monthly verification, quarterly certification. Agency financial data certified with the current quarterly basis of Section 6045 of the addition with the SAO, Senior Accounting Officer, Data Act Broker, and Jeff, the agency submission validated against the authorized source of the provided with winning error reports against agency, either Section 640 relating to validation, either upon certification publication of data loaded to publish USAspending Gov, verifying validation download methods. No, file A, B, and C submitted validated data A broke identification documentation. D2 financial assistance items validated up to federal accounting boards, federal accounting assistant brokers, and identification document. Definition document. Validate among the federal procurement data system of the agent we have with the data act with generally D1 content of the originally source of the FPDS, D2 with the content of the source of the Federal Accounting Bureau standards, Federal Accounting Bureau submission, and file E content of the originals from the System Award Management, file F content of the originally sourced from the FFAT submitted Subaward Report System. Or 60-25-10 reporting submission date with financial submission agency submitted open information data act broke with the DABS interface. Please refer to the resource federal agency data analysis page for the specific deadlines, reporting frequency, procurement award submission agency's procurement award with the federal procurement data system in accordance with the Federal Acquisition Regulation 4604 financial award submission grant loans insurance. Other financial assistance agencies submit the Financial Assistance Act for the Data Act broker with the Federal Financial Accounting Broker System submission site twice per month with the Data and Information Management Information Model Scheme compliance submission format with the Financial Accounting Broker submission tab of the research RSS section 6035 of additional detailed financial assistance submission. Agency determining the financial accounting broker submission data has been submitted. The submission successfully validated, published prior to the Data Act broker submission. Alright, 60-25-20 Data Act broker submission, financial assistant broker submission acts except for the Data Act broker with the Data Act broker submission and federal financial assistant broker submission control of the management max. Initially acts as additional roles, assessment manager, agency account administrator, the max gov, the user, gatekeeper, the agent with the control of the acts of the read only upload with the upload and DABs and FABs and certified DABs groups fee with the max gov. More information registering the Data Act broker and account administrative role with the max.gov log in section 6030 Data Act broker submission. Agency must submit the financial data original to agent the financial system of Data Act broker using latest required RSS available to official services of the Data Act information management system or SAQs, SAOs or SAOs may review the verify the certify the files in section 6045 of the additional SAO requirements of RSS as filed with the ABC correlate with the Office of Management of the 11th United States General Ledger Crosswalk in Form 133. Agency submit files A, B, and C for the Data Act brokers, General D1, D2, E, and F, all of the Treasury accounting symbols, both unexpired with the expired General Form 133. Agency shall be included with the files A and B, expecting financing account with regard to the Treasury accounting symbol, the report allocation stream with an intergovernmental buy and sell transaction Office of Management Memorandum M1704 the Data Information Management Scheme, the Information Model Scheme practice perceived available to federal agency reporting resources page of federal spending transparency is cited with the max gov under the agency data submission. Agency should comply with the data submitted with the top tier and level with the submit with the validated files A, B, and C with the field level of the agency with the inspect with the complete with the inspection submission file, set with the verify the system data submitted with the files A, B, and C with the correct field level, uploaded it in the Data Act broker to validate ABC and with the field level to generate the error warning reports appropriate review with the downloaded agency should note that the warning and correct broker generated validation error with the after correcting validation errors agencies upload with the upload update submission file set. This error correction reloaded upload process will continue until the file passes the broker validation without any errors. Warnings will not prevent the file from passing Generator D1 and D2 after passing of the files A, B, C with the agency will generate the file of D1 and D2 with the broker A compliant with the A, B, and C with the B with the cross-validation agency. Download the generated D1 and D2 files. Proceed with the cross-validation. Additional cross file for the step of the broker performs cross files validation between files A, B, and B, and C, and C, and D1, and C, and D2 with the generates error with the warning port with the appropriate view of the downloading page. Agency should note any of the warning correct with the broker generated validation errors. After correction of the validation errors, agency the upload with the updated submission file. So the error correction re-upload will continue the file with the broker validation without any error. Warning will not prevent them files from passing. Generate E&F files complete with the files A, B, C, D1, and D2 with the broker. Generate E&F file with the polls with a highly compensated officer information associated with the award recipient on unique identifier representing the agency D1 and D2 files F polls with the sum awards associated with prime awards appearance in the agency D1 and D2 file regardless of the sum award reported. There are no field level cross field file validation file E&F additional files D1, D2, EF that may be found official service data information module scheme at the point of the ready for the certification agency. The SAO must officially certify for the quarterly with the data submitted for the agency. The accurate with the agency is published in the USAspending Gov and has been certified. The per Office Management Budget M2021 effective official year 2001 quarter 1 agency must report fair file with a Q1. All agencies must report A files A, B, and C for the U.S. spending monthly. The SAO must verify the completeness of the monthly submission. Monthly agency data published in USAspending Gov to verify with the Section 6045 with additional information SAO requirement. Note that DAB's error may be corrected before proceeding with the next step. In contrast, warnings will not prevent you to continue with the message. They must indicate the inaccuracy of the data. Warning messages severe if the alter the agency possibly worth review of the information validation rule of the broker 6040 of the chapter. 6035 Financial Assistant Broker Submission. Specification Financial Assistant Broker Submission outlined with the RSS the Data Information Model Scheme available to this will serve the Data Information Model Scheme website. Submitting file with the facilitate timeless data available to USAspending Gov. The agency should publish any of the available data award on 30 days of the action of the date with the financial assistant data should be reported to at least twice monthly since the federal financing FFAAT requiring financial award modifications must be submitted 30 days for the action of the day of the award modification. Federal assistant broker submission data should be submitted with a common separated piped eliminated text file format whose contents correspond with the federal financial account assistant broker system on the tab for the RSS. Submission process to begin with the submission agency with identified by the agency agent for the component of the data act broke with the envelope with the file containing the official financial assistant award action that will validate with the publisher. The broker validate for the award action generate error of the warning reports appropriate for the view and the download agency should be known with the award. Any warnings correct with the broker generated validated error at this point of the agency shall publish set awards action. They also a precise validation. If the agency wants to publish the entire set of awards actions of the submission file, it must correct all errors identified with the upload with the correct. This error correction and re-upload process continues until the all awarded actions of the file broker validation without any errors. Warning will not prevent them from file from passing. Publishing your data of the validation of the federal accounting broker's submission takes place within the row level, nothing in the level file level to record publicly, assuming the past validation regardless of the error step of the rest of the record, the publication and final step of the federal accounting financial assistant broker submission process be submitted selected for the agency. Publication will not happen automatically just for record passing validations. Reporting award modification amendments. Award modification amendments should be reported and separately recorded with the original award record that is corrected with the original award record. The action typically an element indicated the purpose of the modification amendment record for the domain value of the RSS available with official use of the data information module scheme model scheme website action type codes their meanings. Aggregate P2 with the related eradicated record of the word aggregate with the unique meaning of the use of the context financial system and reporting the aggregated records of the reporting recipient personal identified information or PII, when awarded made with individual, personal, and identifiable information reacted records provided the alternative aggregation accomplished for the same goal of reacting with the sensitive of the personal identified information for financial accounting broker submission allowed to record the allowed individual to report it like any other non-aggregated record. However, the aggregated record should be only used instead of the personal and identifiable information individual publication. All other awards, including any of the award organizations, shall fully report with the non-aggregated form. Unique record identifier (URI) serve with a similar function. Aggregate the records. Financial assistant identification number does not aggregate records. Every grant, loan, direct payment, other financial assistance records submitted with the financial assistant broker submission system must be sealed with validation before data is published in USAspending Gov. Several data elements of the derived of the financial accounting and financial assistant broker submission is during the publication step of the review of the draft quality cannot submit with the direct agent to the broker to derive of the elements of the submitted direct with the peer with the IDD which is in the financial assistant broker agency review the financial assistant broker submission file itself with the IDD2 to the D2 of the agency to determine whether the agency was in need of the original server the like submission refer to official server the data information model scheme website with additional detail requiring IDD D2 and financial accounting broker system. Alright, the data broker invalidated with the Treasury Accounting System financial elements with the link with the standard form 13.3 based on the task information Treasury Accounting and Reporting System of the government-wide Treasury Accounting symbol. Additional brokers employed with the project activities of the program, activity the code of the banks, collect the repository with the Office of Management budget request of the BDR 1709 as authority source for the program activity, object class code of the Office of Management budget circuit A11 is validation. On file with the DAB and AFBS brokers first to validate with the first level of the file level checking the correct with the extension for the required format. Second, it is required with the headers are present. The third, checks that each of the elements hold with the expected data and hold with the data does not contain the alphanumeric or does not exceed the maximum allowable length applied to the complexity of the validation each row of the submission file. There are two levels of severity with the validation error rules, fatal error to warnings, fatal error to prevent inaccurate value with fundamental data elements being accepted with the data act broker, after the data effect with the completeness accuracy submitted with the error that required with the corrected by the submission with the complete with the tabs, format or fabs submission by continuing with the published errors or how the rows contain errors will not be published until the errors are corrected. Warning message may not indicate the inaccuracy of the warning message will create the alert the agency issue the may indicate the issue worth of the fourth worth, but in some cases there may be validated legitimate reasons for the warnings, such as the timing, the description of the micro portion, for the regardless scenes of the recommended of any of the warnings, except for the agency document table, the internal agency record. Note data elements, note the optional value if the provided the elements, note the custodian conditional required, and then is validated with the provided additional depending on the circumstance as noted validation rules. Specifically, the element may be required, forced to blank, or optional. Please refer to the financial service data information module system scheme website with the business rules employed with the Data Act broker for held cross-file validation. The DABs and VABs violation rules are available to view and download there. The latest validation rules will always be posted on the page. Alright, Section 645, Senior Accountable Officer for the Certification, DAB Submission of Assurance, Statement of the Office of Management, Memorandum M17-4, required by the agency with the Senior Accountable Officer for the alignment of the files A through F with the valid and reliable, including interconnectivity linkage, and for the Data Act submission, in addition to M1704, requires the Senior Accountable Officer to assure data submitted in files A, B, C, valid and reliable to provide assurance that the Senior Accountable Officer will conform to internal controls over the data of the quality mechanism in place for the data suggestion the agency of the Data Act file with aware of the legitimate difference between the Senior Accountable Officer may provide categorical explanation of the misalignment. The explanation can be entered with a separate with the comment text box available through each of the filing certificate with the comments are each of every mail published publicly along with the certified file with the USAspending Gov with the existing data quality measure for the regulating the office management guidance but submitted to the Senior Accounting Officer line individual data files. DAB's reporting must be certified quarterly with the senior accountable officer for the government-wide Treasury accounting simple address for the trial balance certification Treasury with a reporting window scheme of the source of the federal agency data analysis website certified agency data of the published U.S. spending government within 24 hours. Each agency certifies on the broker. Per Office Management Budget M 2021, effective 2022 for the quarter one, all agencies must also verify with the provide DAB statement for the monthly submission for the monthly DAB statement for the monthly data being submitted with the Treasury file for the ABC for the monthly reporting requirement of the Data Act, Office Management Budget M in 21 reported data producing volume of the agency's normally procedure for the including the same for the methods of the certified agency's last quarterly submission. Senior accountable officer for the verify of the monthly data of the published for the U.S. spending government within 24 hours. At the quarter end of the submission, which shall be reviewed in correction of the need of the senior accountability officer for the certification and correction of the need they should be applied for the appropriate individual month. There are no additional quarter end data submission of the agency submitting the monthly one quarter certification senior accountable officer. Section 650, information flowing of the USA spending gov. The information flow diagram provided with the overview of the scope of the data included with the data information module scheme. However, the data is submitted with the Data Act broke with the ultimately displayed U.S. spending gov. Model shows how the data flow for the federal aid flow from an agency financial award system public website. Or Section 655 of the alert system review of the USA spending, federal procurement data system, and the FPDF, the system of federal agency report with the procurement award data. U.S. spending extract with the data from the federal procurement data system, purpose of the file with the D1 broker submission, subsequent publishing the USA spending gov. System award management or SAMS.gov. Recipient required report information from the highly compensated executive deduce over the SAMS gov using spending extracts from the information file either the broker and publishing USA spending gov. FFAAT subaward reporting submissions FRFCSR reporting tool of primary awards, prime contractor, prime grant recipients capture data regarding the first area reward subawards of the FFATA reporting requirements USA spending extracts subawards of the SS subaward reporting system, F the Data Act broker, subsequent publishing USA spending gov central accounting reporting system provides authority to the data of the Treasury account symbol, the Treasury account symbol, the components, financial reporting, entity related budget function, governmental wide transaction, Treasury accounting symbol, address the trial balance system, and government provides standard form 13.3 budgetary data for file A validated professionally created with the broker. Section 6060 submission metadata and certain metadata so for the DABs and FAB submissions collected with the broker availability in U.S. spending, reporting period, reporting agency, last modified date of the submission, status of the submission, date of the submission, certified submission metadata for the consumption force, metadata documentation or data information management scheme. In your contacts with the direct inquiries, items and technicalities, USA spending, DAT, MPMO, official treasury, spending treasury. And that is that finishes up part 2, I believe, chapter 6000, volume 1, Treasury Financial Manual.